a 3-step process I use with my clients to help build their assertiveness in the right situation and the right circumstances adjacent to other techniques is: the first thing, identify the problem. The second step, what would you like to do differently? And the third step is to actually write it out in a script, to rehearse it mentally and visualize it. An example is a woman I was working with one time. As a young girl, she had to look after her parents. She became the caregiver. And growing up, she kept this sort of caregiving nature and identity. So professionally, what she would do is go above and beyond and out of her way to help people beyond her remit, above and beyond that, and it wasn't reciprocated. So she felt she was becoming a doormat in the sense that she'd have things to do afterwards. She'd be asked to stay back from work, she'd book a holiday and be told, well, and made to feel guilty to be going away. And once or twice she had to actually cancel the holiday because they didn't have someone to do what she was doing in her role. And there were things like that, really. And she'd go away for people. And she got to a point where she was even going away for people who weren't asking her to do that as well. So she took this sort of identity as caregiver. She sort of found that love from being a caregiver. I'm not saying everyone who does that correlates with not being assertive, and there's other correlations to assertive behavior, but that was one area that she identified. And what I did with her is got her to state the problem. So the problem could have been, can you stay back from work? Can you cut your holidays short? Can you make a cup of coffee even when she was really, really busy? And then what she would do whenever she felt that limbic response is write it down, what the problem is, what she would do differently. So for example, if I get asked to stay back from work, I'm going to say, well, actually I've made plans. If I get asked, well, can you cut your holiday short? No, well, actually, it's my time for me to enjoy it, and so on and so forth. And then actually write it down, so when it happens next time, she scripted that, and sort of extending that comfort zone to the point where she begins to feel more comfortable. Because obviously it's very easy to unconsciously this pattern of behavior. And I'm not saying it's the only technique, but it's a very useful technique to work adjacently to help people with assertiveness. Not always in that situation. Obviously people have problems with assertiveness in other situations too, but identify a problem, what would you do differently? And then the first step is to write it down and script it out so you imprint that in the brain and you can rehearse it as well. So live with passion, boom.